There is a particular kind of invisibility that doesn't arrive suddenly. It forms slowly, quietly, over years of being attentive, careful, and emotionally awake to others. Without realizing it, you learned very early how to read a room before speaking. You sensed when silence. As a child, you may have noticed that certain emotions took up too much space. They made others uncomfortable. So you adapted. You softened your presence. You became observant, self-contained, reliable. This is how a child disappears, not physically, but internally. By becoming easy, by becoming low. Psychology calls this adaptation many things. Sometimes it's parentification, when a child becomes emotionally aware too soon. Sometimes it's hypervigilance, when attention is always outward, scanning, adjusting. But underneath the terms is something simpler. You learned to survive by noticing others more than yourself. What saved you then, now it matured. You became thoughtful, measured, someone who listens well, someone others talk to but rarely ask about. You didn't demand attention. You didn't interrupt. You waited to be invited into conversations that never quite opened. And slowly a strange thing happened. You began to feel transparent. Not rejected, not unloved, just unseen. In social spaces, you might feel present but unfelt. Your words land softly, then pass through. Your inner life, rich, complex, quietly intense, remains mostly private. Not because you're secret. This invisibility isn't about age alone. It's about pattern repetition. Attachment styles formed early tend to echo across decades. When connection once felt conditional, the body remembers. The nervous system stays regulated by staying small. You may notice how you take up less space without deciding to, how you soften opinions, how you wait, how you disappear. Not because you are weak, but because you are human, and humans adapt to what keeps them safe. Over a long life, these adaptations can become invisible even to you. They feel like personality, like, this is just how I am. But underneath, there is a quiet fatigue, the exhaustion of being internally vivid and externally muted. At some point, invisibility stops feeling protective. It starts to feel lonely. And yet, even here, there is meaning, because the mind that learned to disappear is also the mind that learned depth, the ability to reflect, to tolerate complexity, to sit with ambiguity without needing to resolve it. You think deeply because you had to. You listen well because you learned early how much was unsaid. You move gently through the world because your nervous system values safety. This doesn't erase the ache of not being fully seen, but it reframes it. Your invisibility was never emptiness. It was containment. And now, perhaps, there is a quieter realization emerging. Not a solution, not a demand for change, but an understanding that what you carry has weight, even if it was rarely acknowledged. That the long habit of being unseen shaped you, but did not erase you. And in that understanding, something loosens. Not dramatically, just enough to breathe.